Good morning. Welcome to my DC apartment hunting video. I am so excited about this. If you are new here, my name is Rachel. I just moved to Washington, DC, and I'm on the hunt for my next apartment. I have been to see some really beautiful places, and I thought today I would put it all into a video and you can come on this apartment hunting journey with me. I am going to try and keep this introduction short though, and I'm going to jump straight in to the 4 apartments that kind of meet my criteria, and then afterwards we can come back and discuss the apartments and the criteria, and then at the very end I'm going to throw in a couple more extra apartment tours just of some places that didn't quite fit that criteria, but I thought I would share them with you anyway. The first apartment was by far the most expensive of all of the 4 apartments. They did have a rent promotion of 2 months rent free. And also this apartment is furnished. This was the display apartment, but I did also get a chance to take a look at the apartment that was vacant and empty as well. We're starting in the bedroom. This apartment is furnished. It's the display version of all of the apartments that they have in this style. So the bedroom is really good size. I really quite like it. You move around and you have a walkway between the bathroom that has this incredible closet in it that has built-in storage. There is also a little washer and dryer in its own closet. And then next to that on the left, you have a series of shelves that you could display things in, bags, shoes, or just decor. And then we move through into the bathroom, which is really beautiful. There is actually a linen closet in the very corner of this bathroom, and that is very unusual. They don't usually have a lot of that extra storage, which I quite like. Moving out into the rest of the apartment, to the right, you have the entryway, and then in front of us, we have the most incredible kitchen. Then taking a look at the living room, really beautiful floor to ceiling windows. This apartment does face west, and it does face quite closely into an office building. And unfortunately, this is only going to get the sunlight for a short period of time in the afternoon. In the morning, it may be a little more dull. Now I'm showing you the vacant version of this apartment. The kitchen is totally different. It doesn't have the two-tone cupboards, and the backsplash is a grayish color. And I was a little disappointed because unfortunately they had no apartments available in the style of the furnished one. It was only in the particular fully white kitchen, which I didn't love so much. And this apartment layout is also flipped, which that happens a lot. Sometimes they'll be flipped, but again, you know, washer, dryer, walk-through closet, which I think this one actually had more storage in it than the other one. The other one didn't have all of the baskets and things. The second apartment was the cheapest by far of all of them at a base rate. There were no promotions to go with this apartment, and it was also the largest in terms of square footage. Starting off in the bedroom again, we have a cute little window that has a pretty nice view. There's nothing obstructing the view. It's a good sized bedroom. I quite like the light gray floors, and then there are 2 doors. The left goes out to the kitchen and living room, and the right goes through to the closet and the bathroom. Heading out to the kitchen, we have this incredible island. It's one of the nicer islands I think any of the kitchens have. And then there's also a dry bar, which is very cool. It's a nice feature. It just gives you some extra storage, or you could use it as a bar if you wanted to. There is also a coat closet that's a pretty good size. It's in the middle of the room compared to being right at the entryway. And then we turn around and we just have the kitchen. It's stunning. There is a pantry off to the side, which I think adds for extra storage. The last place I lived had no food storage, which was kind of annoying. So it's nice to see a lot of pantries in these places. We have white cupboards, neutral backsplash. We also have a white fridge, which I've not seen before. Then we head into the bathroom. Pretty simple. You've got a vanity, some above toilet storage, and a bathtub that you can loop around and see through to the bedroom, some towel rails and things like that. But it's quite a nice bathroom as well. And then moving back a little bit to the side, we do have the washer and dryer in its own little closet, which is also very, very handy. And then moving back again, we have the walk-through closet, which is quite nice. A lot of up the top storage, some railings to be able to hang things. You turn around to the other side and we've got even more up the top storage and just a lot of hanging space, which is really, really quite nice. This apartment was also the only apartment that I saw that had its own balcony. I do think this is an adorable balcony. However, this apartment does face north, which means it doesn't get any direct sunlight, and I do love my morning sun, so I'm not too sure about that, but all in all, a really beautiful apartment. The third apartment was the second cheapest, and they did also have a 1-month rent-free promotion. And this apartment wasn't the same sort of shape as the other three. This one was a little bit longer and more rectangle than square. Starting in the bedroom again, this apartment by far had the most beautiful views. It was completely unobstructed. It was south facing, which means it's going to have sun from morning right through to afternoon. And both the bedroom and the living room had these little corner windows, which I thought were really, really cute. Anyway, turning around here in the bedroom, you can see on this wall the pillars that are used for the structural support of the building, which means the shape of the wall is a bit weird. And I don't like this because it can make it really difficult to fit a bed and bedside tables in. I suppose in this apartment you could stick the bed in between the two pillars and then the bedside tables against it, but I don't love that so much. Anyway, moving through the bedroom, there's a door to the left which goes out into the living room, and then a door that goes straight ahead into the very large walk-through closet. This closet also had a lot of built-in storage and railings, which is amazing. One of the best I've seen in all of my apartment hunting. A lot tend to not have these actual rails and shelves. And then you move through into the bathroom. This was also quite a large bathroom. It had a bathtub, it had a shower curtain railing already installed, a vanity, and as you turn around you can see back through the closet through to the bedroom, and then you come out into the kitchen, and then when you turn to the right you've got the entryway. So that door in the middle is where you come through. To the right there's also a couple of doors for a coat closet, and then the fridge, and then we turn back around to the rest of the kitchen. Behind me there was also an in-unit washer and dryer. This washer and dryer is a little bit older compared to some of the other apartments. And then this is just looking from the bedroom back towards the kitchen. As you can see, there's no kitchen island, which is not something I love. I don't really like it when kitchens sit in smaller spaces like this where it's almost sitting in a hallway. It does have a beautiful white backsplash. The cupboards at the top are white, the cupboards at the bottom are gray. I think it's a nice combination, but it's not my favorite type of kitchen. And the fourth apartment was the second most expensive. There were no rent promotions. It was also the smallest in terms of square footage, and it's also an older building, so they just did some renovations that make it look amazing. Starting in the bathroom this time. Now this apartment's a little bit older. It has had some renovations. The bath is still a bit old, but the kitchen and the vanity are quite new. But there is a walk-in laundry, and this is very cool because it is not a common feature at all. The washer and dryer is a little old, but still very cool. Then turning around, we head back out into the hallway. To the right, we have the entryway, and across the hall, we have a coat closet, which is pretty standard for most apartments. There's usually a coat closet when you walk right in the entryway. Also, a lot of apartments will have a utility closet that you don't usually have access to. And then next to that, we have this incredible closet that has shelving. You could use it as a pantry, but there's a lot of great storage. Then turning around, we have the most incredible kitchen. They have done such a great job with these renovations. I think this might be my dream kitchen. The sink in the island is amazing. The whole thing just looks incredible. And then turning around, we have this beautiful living room space. And this apartment also has those box type windows as well, which I love. This one does face west, so it will have really good lighting in the evening, but will probably be a little darker in the morning. And then we turn back around and head into the bedroom. The thing that I love the most about this bedroom is there is a tree right outside the window. This is only on level 2, but that tree just is amazing. And then we turn back around and you have this really big walk-in closet. It has a few shelves in there that you can hang things on or put them on top of. It doesn't loop through around into the bathroom like some of the other apartments do. And then we swing around and go back out into the rest of the apartment. So those are the 4 apartments that I was considering. I am going to jump into my criteria really quickly. So number 1, I was looking for a 1-bedroom apartment, and I really wanted it in what I call a box apartment. I don't know what the correct term is, but it's basically where the layout is just a square, and 3 of the 4 apartments fit that type of layout. The second thing that I was looking for was a light kitchen, so white, light gray, light wood, and all 4 of those apartments hit that criteria. Third thing that I'm looking for is a kitchen island. I did say a couple of videos ago when I was talking about this that it wasn't really something that I needed, but as time has gone on, I have decided having a kitchen island is a must, and 3 of those 4 apartments had that. The fourth thing that I'm looking for is light wooden floors. I did have dark wooden floors in my last apartment, and you know what? It was beautiful and I loved it, but if I had to pick a preference, I would say light wooden floors, and I would say 3 out of the 4 apartments had that. It was probably the third one that was just a little bit darker, and quite frankly, I just didn't really like the tone of those floors. The fifth thing that I am looking for is no carpet. I just don't really like carpet. I much prefer all wooden floors with rugs, and none of those apartments had carpet. The next thing that I was looking for was what direction the apartment would face. I said east, south, and west facing in my other video, but as time has gone on, I've also decided that it must be an east facing apartment, and none of those apartments meet that criteria. I have applied for an apartment that is not in this video, and the apartment that I've applied for does face east. I've just decided that I want my apartment to be really bright and light as I wake up, and then it can fade off in darkness as the day goes on. There were 2 west facing apartments, and as beautiful as they were, I just knew that in the morning they weren't going to be as bright as I wanted them to be. The south facing one I could have probably got away with. The north one I just had to say no because it's north facing and it would never get any direct sunlight. The next thing that I'm looking for is to make sure that there was not another building really close to the windows. I think the first apartment had a building really close. It was an office building, but I didn't feel like it was too close that it would really annoy me. The street was a little bit wider, so it didn't bother me too much, but it was more that there was a building and it was west facing, and I just didn't feel like it was gonna get a lot of light in the way that I wanted to. And the last thing that I was looking for was a building with a pool and some really nice amenities, and thankfully, because it is so hot in DC, pretty much every single apartment building has a pool. So all 4 of those had pools. I didn't really show anything of the amenities, so what I might do is just quickly throw in like a little montage for you, and you can see each of the amenities that I think I filmed. I think I may have forgotten to film one amenities for them, but I will show you very quickly. So I think all of those apartments were pretty high contenders. I will go over some of the things about renting in DC that if you are new here and you don't know how it works, this may be helpful or not. But essentially there's 2 types of apartments. There are condos, which are apartments that are owned by an individual landlord. Basically everything in Australia is what's considered a condo, but in Australia we just call it apartments. Then you have apartments, which is where every single apartment in the building is owned by the building. And in DC, pretty much every apartment building is an apartment building. The building will be the ones renting it out to you, and they will be your landlord essentially, which means they tend to have promotions, especially if they're newer buildings. They can do rent deals. You could maybe negotiate a little bit. The only problem is there is a lot of extra little fees. For example, most buildings will need you to pay a monthly garbage fee, which is an extra $10 to $15. There may be electricity and utility fees that service the whole building and the use of the amenities. They have sometimes internet fees because you can't get your own internet, so you just have to take what they give you, and it can range from like $30 to $100. They also have application fees, amenity fees. Sometimes they will do deals where they can waive these fees for you. It's a lot, and I would recommend creating a spreadsheet and putting everything in that way, and then trying to break down to the final cost per month and figuring out what's the best. One of the reasons I didn't go with any of these 4 apartments is because the apartment that I've applied for is significantly cheaper than these ones. Everything is just cheaper, and I think, in my opinion, it has the best amenities out of all of them. So hopefully very shortly I will be able to update you on the apartment application process, and hopefully I can just move in and we could start the moving process. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all of the information and criteria and for things regarding apartment hunting in DC. I'm gonna jump into the last couple of tours. One of them was from an entirely different building, and that's this little apartment here. Now this is a studio apartment, and I will say this about DC apartments: they are big, significantly bigger than anything else I've seen in Melbourne or Toronto. I feel like the features of DC apartments are large, meaning the coat closets, the wardrobes, the kitchen storage, everything is quite large compared to other places I've been, which I think is really cool. You know, this is a studio and it has a full washer and dryer closet. It has a full coat closet at the front. The kitchen has great storage. The one thing about this little apartment though is it does face the center of the building. So most buildings here are kind of like a ring, and there will be apartments that face outwards as well as apartments that face inwards. And as you can see, there's the building there, and I just don't love that. The next apartment is also a 1-bedroom, and we're starting off in the bathroom, which is right next to the entryway. This bathroom also just happened to have a linen type closet, which I mentioned before is not very common, so that's always a good feature. Moving back out into the hallway and into the bedroom, this bedroom does have 2 closets, which I think is really great storage. It's also a really good sized bedroom. I mentioned before DC has big features. They have big bedrooms. And then there's a window to the hallway. There is no window to the outside, which is why it's a bit of a different layout as a 1-bedroom. This here is a perfect example of the type of kitchen I'm not looking for. I don't like the dark cabinets, and I also don't like the dark backsplash, but this living room space is a really good size. And then as we turn around, it also faces into the building. This next apartment is a studio apartment. So this is the bathroom. It's a really good sized bathroom for a studio. And then moving on to the bedroom, I'm coming out of the closet, and this is the sleeping area. So it's not a full bedroom. There's no windows or a door, so it's a bit dark. But when I turn around, you can see this giant walk-in closet. This is a studio apartment with one of the biggest walk-in closets I've ever seen. And then you come out to the kitchen, which is beautiful. And then back up the hallway, you can kind of see the full length of the apartment. There's also an in-unit washer and dryer as well. And then over near where the living room is, you can see that it faces into the rest of the building. And then you can just have a bit of a look up at the space. I think that's a pretty good summary of my apartment hunting in DC. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I can't wait to start sharing with you more about the apartment that I've applied for. And please keep your fingers crossed for me that I get approved and it all just goes smoothly, because it has been an absolute ordeal so far, but I will get to that in my next video.